Okay, so our next unit is going to be on algebra, and we're going to teach things in a slightly different way. It's going to be more like a lesson than you're used to. So we're going to start off with starters every day called Fluent in 5. So you've done 5 questions. 4 of them you can see here. I'll scroll down to a 5th one in a second. And what you've got to do is decide if you're going to solve them mentally or written. Doesn't matter which way. And get the answer, and then when I show you the answers, after you completed them, I'll show you which ones you should have had to go at mentally and which ones could be written. It doesn't matter which method you choose really, as long as you get the answer, but which ones are suggested to be mental. So, first 5 questions. So 4 are here. So for the first 4, in a second, you're going to pause the screen, and then you're going to complete these 4, and then I'll move it down to the 5th question. You'll pause the screen, complete that, and then we'll move on to answers. So here's your first 4. So if you pause it now, and then brilliant, so you've had a bit of a pause of it, so hopefully you'll have paused it, and now we scroll down to question number 5. You can probably see it anyway, so give it a pause again, have a bit of a go, so pause it now. Okay, once you've done that, we're going to move on to the answers, so definitely get it paused again, and here we go on to our answers. So the answers for number 1, the M means it should have been had to go out mentally, so 294 add 70. Hopefully you saw that 294 is close to 300, so you added 6 and then took 6 in your head away from 70, and now you've got 64 left. So add the 6 to make 300, add the 64, 364. The second one, definitely a written column multiplication, so 4,697 add 2,534, added together 7,231. The third one, 3 times 8, times tables, do them in your heads. So 3 times 8 equals 24. The next one was definitely written because we don't know our 564 times table, or we don't know our 8s up to that level. So 564 times 8 equals 4,512. And the last one, it says mental, so 80 times 5. But really, 20 times 5 is 100, so about 4 times. That's how I did it. If you did it written, it doesn't matter. But your answer is 400. Right, moving on to the main bulk of our lesson. So our in-focus task is looking to arrange coins according to a rule. Okay, so we've got £1 coin, and the next part is £3 coins, then the next part is £6 coins. Or there's 1, and then a row of 1, a row of 2, or a row of 1, row of 2, row of 3. So there's different rules. Now here, they're talking about it. So the arrangement of the pattern. So pattern number 1 is £1 coin. Pattern number 2, a row of 1, a row of 2. Pattern 3, a row of 1, row of 2, row of 3. Pattern 4, row of 1, row of 2, row of 3, row of 4. Pattern 5, row of 1, row of 2, row of 3, row of 4, row of 5. So whichever pattern number it is, it looks that that number of pound coins are being added to the bottom of our arrangement. So could you show pattern 6? So she's shown in pattern 6, there are 6 rows. So there are 6 rows of coins, and the longest row is going to be 6 coins. So you'd add another 6 coins under here, and it'd be a row of 6, row of 5, row of 4, row of 3, row of 2, row of 1. Nothing too complex there. So how about pattern 10? So he's saying in pattern 10, there are how many rows? So if we're saying that row number 1, there was, pattern number 1 was 1 row, pattern number 2, there were 2 rows. Hopefully you're working out that by pattern 10, there'll be 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the longest row in pattern 10 will have how many coins? So pattern number 1, the row had 1 coin. Pattern number 2, the row had 2 coins. Pattern number 3, the row had 3 coins. So whichever pattern number it is has that number of coins. So pattern number 10 will have 10 coins. So how about pattern triangle, where triangle is any whole number? So in algebra, we know we can represent things with letters or with shapes. Okay, so pattern triangle, where triangle is any whole number. So it shows us it here. So pattern 10, there'd be 10 rows, 10 coins. If it was pattern triangle, we don't know what number that is. There'd be triangle number of rows, because it's the exact same as the pattern number, just like 10 was the same as 10. And the number of coins in that row will also be triangle, because it's the same as the number of rows, same as the pattern, because just like here, 10 coins in the longest row, 10 number of rows, pattern number of 10. So it's exactly the same. So it'll be triangle, triangle, triangle. If it was x's, it would be pattern number x, number of rows would be x, number of coins in a row would be x. Just replace a number with a letter or a shape. So here we go, we can use a symbol, triangle, or a letter x to stand for any number. So in pattern x, oh look, I've just done it. There are x rows. The longest row in pattern x has x coins. Right, we're going to go through this one together. So guided practice. So this lovely lady makes this pattern according to a rule. She's putting an orange square and then a green triangle on top of it. So pattern number 1, the arrangement is 1 square, 1 triangle. Pattern number 2, 2 squares, 2 triangles. Pattern number 3, 3 squares, 3 triangles. Pattern number 4, what a surprise, 4 squares, 4 triangles. Pattern number 5, I wonder. Oh yes, of course, 5 squares, 5 triangles, and so on and so on. So here, 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3. Pattern number 4, 4 and 4. Pattern number 10. Hopefully you're getting annoyed at me and shouting at the laptop. Yes, it is 10 squares, 10 triangles. Pattern number n. Just like we talked about the x's here. Pattern number n. Number of squares. If it was 10 here and it was 10 here, I think it's going to be in here. So a number of squares, the n pattern number, they'll be exactly the same. N number of squares. What would it be for triangles? Have a look at the other examples. 10 for 10, 4 for 4. So there is n number of squares and n number of triangles. All that means is we can put n as any number. So if I put it as 7, pattern number 7, there'd be 7 squares, there'd be 7 triangles. Okay, what I want you to do now is pause the video and have a go at your worksheet. Now, don't try and be sneaky and copy the answers. And I put you know who you are. You definitely know who you are. So I want you to pause it now and have a go. And once we've done that, we're going to be going through the answers. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds where I'm not going to speak for you to get the pausing done. And then I'll be carrying on. You better be pausing it. And welcome back after the pausing. So we're going to go over the answers now. Obviously, you've got the answers on the website, but if you want me to show you how we get to those answers, we're going to crack on with it. So worksheet number 1, here it was. So describing a pattern. So this boy here arranged some marbles according to rule. Pattern 1, 1 marble. Pattern 2, 2 marbles. Pattern 3, 3 marbles. Pattern 4, 4 marbles. Oh, I'm getting bored, and I think we're probably getting this. So you were asked to fill in the table. So pattern number 1, 1 marble. Pattern number 2, hopefully you wrote 2 marbles. Pattern number 4, hopefully you wrote 4 marbles. Pattern number 10, so whatever pattern number is, that's the number of marbles, so it'll be 10 marbles. Pattern number X, remember as we spoke before, it will be the same number as here, so if it's X here, it must be X number of marbles for this pattern. Draw pattern 6, I just drew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marbles. Pattern number 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 marbles. Nothing too distressing, hopefully we did okay with that. Then next part. So this girl here made this pattern using building blocks. She had 1 cuboid, 1 cube in pattern 1, 2 cuboids, 2 cubes in pattern 2, 3 cuboids, 3 cubes in pattern 3. So they're adding a cuboid and a cube each time. So it's the same number of cuboids and cubes as the pattern number. So pattern number 1, 1 cube, 1 cuboid. Pattern 2, 2 cubes, 2 cuboids. Pattern 3, 3 cubes, 3 cuboids. Pattern 7, 7 cubes, 7 cuboids. Pattern 12 is exactly the same number, 12 cubes, 12 cuboids. Pattern number Y, there's going to be Y number of cubes, it's going to be the same number as the pattern number, and number of cuboids, it's going to be Y as well. Draw pattern number 5. Now I couldn't work out how to make the cuboids, so I've done rectangles and squares, but you'll get the premise. So the pattern number 5, that's your pattern number. If we look down here, it's going to be exactly the same number of cubes and cuboids. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes. That matches. So that's the pattern. How many cubes and cuboids are all together in pattern 5? 5 add 5. Hopefully we're okay with that now. Is 10. All right, what I've done for you now is our plenary or our challenge problem is this one. So I'm going to read it to you. Well, there's not a lot to read, but I'll explain what I want you to do. Then you're going to pause it again, have a go, and then the answers will be on the next page. So pattern number 1, we have a rectangle, 2 squares. Pattern number 2, we have an amount of rectangles and amount of squares. Pattern number 3, we have an amount of rectangles and amount of squares, or cubes and cuboids. should I say. So pattern number 1, there are 2 cubes and 1 cuboid. Pattern number 2, how many will be? 3, how many will be? 7, 12, and y. So pause it now. I'll be quiet for a few seconds because in case you're a slow pauser, and then we'll be carrying on. So pause it now, have a go. And hopefully we're back unpaused and we're not cheating. So I'm going to move on to the answers now. So here we go. So pattern number 1 were 2 cubes and 1 cuboid. Pattern number 2, there were 4 cubes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 cuboids. Pattern number 3, there were 6 cubes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 cuboids. So how many cubes there are? Half the number of cuboids. 7, there were 14 cubes, 7 cuboids. 12, 24 cubes, and 12 cuboids. Notice we said half, but also the number of cubes is double the number of cuboids. Now y, hopefully we got this. Now remember when we're doing algebra, this is back when we were learning it back in March or even February. When we times by a letter, we just write 2y. So the number of cuboids is always going to be the same as your pattern number. So it'll be y. The number of cubes is double or times 2. So we've written 2y. All right, so hopefully we got that. There's your first lesson on algebra, and I hope you did well on it. And I will speak to you all soon.